So welcome back, and thanks for checking out my newest content. So on this video, I want to talk about a series Land Rover product review, and also let this serve as an introduction to a project that I've had going on for the last couple of years that I want to detail a little bit more for those that are interested. First of all, this is a 1980 Warn 8274 winch. This is a a staple of the off-roading community. Some people will call it the holy grail of winches. Maybe not necessarily for Land Rovers, but still very appropriate to see on the front of our Land Rover. I found this one. This one came out of Virginia. It's a 1980 model, dating it by its codes. When I cracked it open to clean it up, it was practically brand new. Had very little use on it. So I did a little bit of a cleanup. It had the handle broken for the free spooling, and so I replaced it with a giggle pin free spooling unit. If you're not familiar with giggle pin, you ought to go check out their stuff. 8274s are like a whole different world in the UK. Putting two motors on them, re-engineering them, and so this one's going to be set up with a synthetic line and giggle pin, heavy solenoid, and I'll set it up to where it'll both be operated by a hand controller, but also operated by some switches on the dash for this truck, and they'll be period correct series switches, so they won't look out of the ordinary, but they'll do some out of the ordinary operations. But one of the pieces that I'm super proud of, and of course I did not produce this, but the fine fellows at Pangolin 4x4 made this bumper. This style of bumper for Land Rovers, it's been around for a little while, but I'd have to say that Ike and the guys at Pangolin just really knocked it out of the park with these bumpers. Either they're custom bumpers. If you go to the website, you can kind of check off different options, whether or not you want additional toe points, whether or not you want it to have a aluminum fairly, whether or not you want the raised ends, mountings for the 8274 winch or for other kinds of winches. But it is an unbelievably well-made bumper. And so the two of these together, I really feel like will be something special for the front of this truck. So at this point, I'd kind of like to talk about this project. So if you've watched some of my other videos, you guys know that I have a 62 Series 2A truck, a station wagon. This just kind of setting and waiting for restoration. I have my 1970 late Series 2A, which is my daily driver, and it's just a wonderful truck. So this is the project that I'm currently working on. So this is a 1966 Series 2A, 2.25 gas Nada truck, and it is a truck that is originally from Western North Carolina. Came out of the same dealership as my 1970 and spent most of its life, or all of its life, in Western North Carolina. We lovingly refer to it as Granny for a couple of reasons, but the first one being that the truck was purchased by a lady who owned an apple orchard in Hendersonville, and so it was a truck on the orchard. It even has on the paint, and I'll show in future episodes, it has some apple leaves and some apples that were hand painted into the side, and also the original telephone number, which I think was a 5-digit telephone number with a combination of letters and numbers showing how far back the truck was used on the orchard. So, and she was the original owner. The other reason why we refer to it as Granny is that I am putting a set of lower gears in the transfer case, and so it'll be a combination of the low first gear from a Series 2A truck and the lower gears from the earlier 2A trucks in the transfer case. So first gear in this truck will be extra low, or known as a granny. So we refer to this truck as granny. This is going to be a trail rig. It's going to be, the chassis on it is actually halfway decent. My plan is to replace this chassis with a full galvanized Marsland from Rover's North. The other Land Rover will eventually get the chassis off of this truck. I've got some really cool parts and pieces for this truck. It'll be fully locked front and rear in the differentials. Something special with some axles, and I'll show you guys some of that in future episodes. Totally rebuilding the gearbox, totally rebuilt the transfer case, totally rebuilt the motor. Still got to figure out what I'm going to do for steering. I have the original, but I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to go with some sort of power steering, because the plan for this truck is to run it on 33-inch tires. I do have a truck cab for it, so this will be run as either an open top or as a truck cab. But I've just collected a lot of really cool bits and pieces for this truck. This is my do it exactly the way you want it project. So all the things that I've ever thought, man, that would be cool to have on a Land Rover or do to a Land Rover, that's this truck. It will be original patina truck. The patina on it's great. It will be a sympathetic restoration when it comes to the appearance, but it'll have all the good bits and pieces that I'll show you along the way. So again, great piece of kit here when you put these two things together. Pangolin, Ike and Jason, I think Jason actually built this for me at Pangolin in the 8274. Just a great combination, and really sets the tone from the front of the truck, working all the way back. Thanks.